Hello.
Okay then, Ron, we're good to go.
Yeah. I'm on. Good morning, everybody. Sabah al khair. Thank you for joining us today, parents, for our conversation with myself, Mr. John, Head of Primary, and Mr. Ian, our Head of Secondary here at GEMS Founders School. Well, very busy term it has been so far, and trust that Ramadan hours have been kind to everybody. They are almost at an end, and looking forward to our much anticipated Eid break. And I would like to wish everybody this time an Eid Mubarak. So what have we got in terms of our updates of primary so far? Progress tests, they'll be coming up, and more information about those will be coming out. These are mandated tests for our year 3 students all the way through to our year 10 students, and more information about that will be coming through letter. There will be some minor disruption to our timetable. We will be asking certain days where students will be staying at home to complete these tests, as this will be the safest way that we can conduct large-scale testing on devices at this time. We still have to be very cognizant of our social distancing and all our COVID-related rules and procedures, and this is the best thing that we can come up with. So more information, as I said, will be coming out from that. Just kind of general reminders in terms of primary. Please, if you have bought any stationery, please, parents, remember to send those in with your children if they are blended learners and attending on their days. As well as that, of course, the term 3 books, please do purchase those, as they will be used and will be especially useful for your students and for your children, our students, as they move through the term and maybe through the summer holidays, just to have a look at as well. Whole school notice as well, starting the week beginning the 23rd, post our short Eid break. There will be a Holy Quran whole school competition as well coming up. So I'm going to pass over now to Mr. Ian. Thank you, Mr. Ian.
Thank you, Mr. John. Good morning, Sabah al khair, Ramadan Kareem, and Eid Mubarak in advance. Thank you to everybody who continues to join these sessions, and Mr. John and I certainly hope they are useful. We do welcome your feedback as always, so please, for the attendees today, if you do have any feedback as to your thoughts about these coffee and conversation sessions, we would like to hear that. If you would like to see anything done differently, or if we can add different features to these sessions to make it better for parents, please do let us know. So like Mr. John said, just to, the same as primary, the progress tests are coming up. You will be informed about these shortly, and obviously we do require full parental support on these tests, just like we've had for the CAGs and the school assessed grades with our older students. So we will be asking all parents to acknowledge the rules, the conditions that these tests have got to be taken under at home, and that will obviously support us in making sure that our data is as reliable, valid as possible. Essentially, we want to make sure that students are doing these without any help from siblings, parents, or anybody at home. This is absolutely critical, and you will have an agreement that we will share with you shortly to acknowledge. In terms of our progress towards the school assessed grades, the centre assessed grades, the teacher assessed grades for years 11, 12 and 13, our in-school assessment series is coming to an end shortly. Students have been incredibly focused, so thank you very much for your support from home with that as well. And we're getting lots of evidence now where teachers are now starting to use that to arrive at the most accurate and fair grade for your children if they're in year 11, 12 and 13. Just to keep you updated, we do have virtual visits from our examination boards. The first one will be with AQA, and they come in to quality assure our processes. We talk them through our centre policy, which is going to be shared with all parents on GEMS Connect. So please If you want to look through our centre policy for assessed grades, feel free to do so. It's quite a lengthy document, but again, we are being very transparent with what we are doing, what evidence we're using, what systems we've got in place, in line with all the regulations. In terms of the IGC and A-level forms, IGCSE, brilliant. So very well done to all Year 9 students and parents who have got those IGCSE forms back in. We've hit the 100% now, which is excellent. Year 11 is going into 12. We're not at 100%, so please, as a reminder, for current students, you must get those option forms into us so that we can confirm those subject options for next year. In terms of the final end of year reports, our teachers are starting to work hard now to create end of year reports. Obviously, they will go out in the last month of the academic year. But again, just a reminder about the importance of you reading those reports with your children, reflecting upon them, and making sure that any areas that need addressing can be addressed even during the summer months in preparation for the next academic year. And finally, we still have not received any updates as to the guidelines for reopening in September. We continue to ask. We continue to ask because we want to inform you as parents, obviously. We are making multiple different plans and arrangements for reopening in September. So we're ready for anything. Obviously, we hope that we are permitted to have more students into the school, but that is not confirmed yet. And once it is confirmed, or what the rules are, we'll be transparent and share them with you accordingly. I think that's pretty much everything. As always, please do reach out. I think we do have some questions. So I think there's one that said in the third term semester. Yeah, we don't use the terminology semester, so we are currently in the third term. We have 3 terms in our school year, and we are in our third term. But essentially, yeah, I can understand maybe there's confusion about semester and terms. We use the terminology terms. Hopefully that answers that. There's a question here. Good morning, GFS. Can we try to extend the school days, not online learning? Again, I think I've already answered that one. This is something that we have to follow the rules of the DHA, of the KHDA. Obviously, we are absolutely trying our very best to come up with solutions and different ways where we can get all of our students back into our school. You know, we are all feeling the strain, parents, students, teachers, and not just at GFS. I think I speak on behalf of probably most schools across the world, certainly in Dubai as well, that we are really trying our very best to get back to normality as soon as possible. And this week, Mr. Matthew and Miss Jan had a meeting with the DSIB, and that meeting was regarding our progress that we've made over the past year in relation to obviously all the implications of lockdown, the implications of blended learning, remote learning, the effects it's had on different year groups, and what actions we're putting into place, you know, to support our students and our families moving forward. So a lot of work is going on as we continue to battle against this pandemic. Mr. John, I know he's typing an answer to the progress tests. That will come out in a letter. We're hoping to get that letter out today. Like Mr. John said, logistically, it's a very, very big challenge to administer tests in school safely under the restrictions. So those test dates will be separated over 3 separate weeks. The dates will be confirmed with you today. And like I said, those will be conducted at home. I've got a question regarding A-level. So the question is, for A-level, could we choose Arabic as a first language instead of English? Arabic isn't offered by the school. In this case, do we still have 4 A levels or 3+ Arabic, which I understand we'll study alone. So we don't run Arabic as an A level at the school. Currently, we in year 12 and 13 run the Ministry of Education Arabic. In fact, when we've done the student surveys, there was no student that responded that they wished to do Arabic as an A level. We obviously do it as an international GCSE, the first language and the additional language Arabic, which is growing in popularity, which is wonderful. You know, we want more students to be doing Arabic at the qualification level. And I would be happy to speak with the parent, whoever posted this. So if you want to contact me directly regarding A-level Arabic, I'd be happy to speak to you with regards to that. I think that's answered all of the questions. Mr. John is obviously answering all of them as well, which is great, but I'm going to hand back to Mr. Sorry, I'll just answer this final one that's come in about the mocks. Okay, brilliant. You've actually brought me onto something that I was going to mention regarding our year 11s and 13s. So the question is, after all of these assessments are done, we obviously we do want to keep our year 11s and 13s fully engaged. Typically, they would be doing exams all the way up to June and be on some form of study leave. But what we are going to do is exactly the same as what we did last year, which was successful. And it's a program that we designed in collaboration with Metropole School called Your Future, Your Choice. And it is a sequence of different activities that will help prepare our 11s move into year 12 and our 13s move on to universities. So we're currently just tweaking the plans for that, and we'll be sharing those once those assessments are fully completed so that all students can start off at the same time. But essentially a 5-6 week program where we are going to have universities speaking to our students. Year 13s are going to be doing a lot of work with year 11s and vice versa, actually, to make sure that our students are ready for the following academic year. Obviously, it won't be on a normal timetable. It won't be lesson by lesson. It will be more project and task-based work. But obviously, that's as a result, obviously, of these examinations being cancelled. So hopefully that helps you understand our plans for that. I'm going to hand back to Mr. John.
Thank you, Mr. Ian. Thank you, parents. Just to go over a couple more of the questions again. Thank you, everybody, of course, for joining in and contributing. That's the real purpose of this session, so that we can answer direct questions as much as possible. So one that's come in: is there any plan in coordination with the DHA to vaccinate students in school below age 16 years? Well, I'm not aware of any plans at the moment in terms of vaccinating even our 16, 17 and 18-year-olds. Obviously, each school has a clinic, each school has doctors, each school has nurses as well. However, even with our adults, no school clinic or clinic staff have been able to administer the vaccines. As I understand at the moment, I am not somebody that works as obviously for the DHA CEHA. So as and when those kind of procedures and policies and guidelines change, we will, of course, as we do with anything like this, any update, we look at it. How can this affect our community? How can we put this in place here? And we would, of course, inform everybody as well when we're prepared to do so. But to date, I'm certainly not aware of any confirmed plans for vaccines to be administered to our students within school. Yes, a few questions regarding the progress tests. Obviously, please do wait for the information that will come out. It will all be in a letter. And as Mr. Ian said, it will be over a series of 2-3 weeks. It won't be every single day. OK, there'll be one day each week that will come up, but do please just hold on for the letter on that one that will come out. We're just making some final changes there. Ms. Ayla, every class has different age groups. In my daughter's class in year 3, some kids are older by more than 6 months. But this is the standard case for every year group. And you can imagine that with every year group, our eligibility as per the schools in England, if, for example, you are born on September the 1st and you're in year 5, then it's quite conceivable that there will be a student potentially who was born the following year on August the 31st. so 364 days younger, and they will of course be in the same year group. So often we will talk about the average age, and the average age would be for each year group for somebody who's born around the end of February, beginning of March. If you're born at that time, then there will be students who are up to 6 months older than you in your year group, and also there'll be students kind of up to 6 months younger than you as well. As we know, out here in Dubai, it's been a few years, the KSDA slightly different eligibility for year groups in comparison to the UK, whereas the UK goes September the 1st to August 31st of the following year. The KSDA goes from September the 1st all the way through to December the 31st, but that is changing then for this year. So slightly longer, kind of 16-month eligibility. But for our youngest students, those changes are coming in as of September this year. So yes, we do take all those elements into consideration. Obviously, anybody who's born in the autumn term and is one of the oldest in the year group has a natural advantage, and that natural advantage, frankly, they have that all the way through their school career. Somebody who's born within what we term the summer months, a summer born student, somebody who's born certainly July and August, is frankly a little bit of a disadvantage. Why? Because they're so much younger than everybody else in their year group, and they do carry that, which is why many of you will be aware we often have conversations with people who are born in the autumn term and maybe kind of slightly out of year group within those. So it does have an impact, absolutely. Certainly when you get into the younger years, you're so much younger, and in the older years as well, because you're, in a sense, you are competing with yourself. Yes, when you complete your assessments, your GCSEs and A-levels, but you're actually also in competition with everybody else who is taking those assessments because of the way the grade boundaries are founded. So, anything that we can do to help our students have the best possible chance to be as successful as they can be, we like to offer those as well. And you can imagine that if somebody is 18 years and 6 months, or even older, 9 months doing their A-levels compared to somebody who's 17 years and 9 months, the person who's 18 obviously has an advantage, especially in those kind of more humanities subjects where that little bit of maturity really does help with kind of structuring essays, personal opinions, things like that. Maths, as we know, a little bit more abstract, and when you are lucky enough to have that natural ability, that flair for maths, that can kind of happen at any age as well. But yeah, it is something that we are very much aware of, and our teachers do factor this in. And every time that we do look at data and we look at where our students are, that we do appreciate as well where they are within their age band and their year group as well. Okay, I'm just going to have a little look through and can see a couple more questions have come in. I'm at the office, I cannot hear. No, I do apologise for that one. Obviously, it's easier to explain rather than type for all our questions that have come through. So we will receive revision sheets before the tests, as Mr. Ian has said. Yeah, there isn't anything. They're not really knowledge-based tests, the progress tests. There will be some preparation that goes on within school, but it's not. They certainly are not tests that we're asking people to revise for. It's not a kind of learn these 3 chapters and you're going to get tested on. They are kind of general ability tests as opposed to strict knowledge-based tests, which you would normally kind of revise for and practice for. But general information will come out certainly from your teachers, from your teams and subject teams. I think that is it. Unless Mr. Ian has spotted any more questions coming through, I'm going to hand back. So I'm just going to hand back to Mr. Ian. Thank you, everybody. That is it from me. I would like to wish all of you Eid Mubarak.
Thank you, Mr. John. No more questions, but just one thing we would like you to do in the chat. We want to end this, this time just before Eid, for us to celebrate and for us to make some really positive comments about what has been happening either in school, at home, and I would just want you to share one really positive thing. Obviously, in the chat, we're not going to publish all of these. We will read them, of course, and we thank you for your positivity. But yeah, one really good message, something that your children have enjoyed, something that you've enjoyed, so that we can end Ramadan on a really positive note and use it as a really good tool of reflection as well. So if you would do that, we would be delighted. Have a very, very safe Eid holiday. Eid Mubarak to our families, and we will see you all on the 16th of May. Take care, everybody, and thank you for joining us.